for a moment about the most everyday act you perform. Buying your morning coffee or checking your balance on your phone. It seems like a simple mathematical transaction, a matter of adding and subtracting, right? But what if I told you that in that simple exchange of value, you are projecting your deepest convictions, your fears, your culture, and even your faith? Today, we're crossing a boundary few dare to approach. We're going to explore where our deepest beliefs intersect with the world of money and technology.
It serves as a truly fascinating starting point for our discussion, primarily because we have a strong tendency to completely separate the world of finance from the realms of morality or spirituality, often treating them as if they were oil and water that simply cannot mix. We are consistently taught that numbers are inherently cold and purely objective, yet the underlying reality is that our deepest core beliefs serve as the invisible foundation upon which we construct our entire relationship with risk, wealth, investment, and personal responsibility. When you get right down to the core of it, money is really nothing more than a magnifying mirror of what we truly value as human beings in our lives.
Exactly. And the goal of our talk today is not to impose one view over another or to say which philosophy is the right one. It's about creating a space for mutual understanding, of understanding why we make the decisions we make. This makes me think of a very real and close to home example. I have an acquaintance, Rodolfo, who lives in a constant state of internal conflict. He always says that having money is bad, that it inevitably corrupts the soul, and this comes directly from his religious roots. Because he attends a church where the pastor constantly preaches that material abundance is an obstacle to spiritual purity.
Rodolfo's case perfectly illustrates how religious doctrine shapes an entire financial life, and this is certainly not an isolated case. Throughout history, religions have approached the accumulation of wealth in vastly different ways. Certain branches of Christianity, Islam, or Buddhism hold very strict teachings regarding usury, charity, and economic justice. For many people, the concept of money is often associated with a sense of guilt. However, there are also various modern interpretations that view prosperity as a powerful tool for doing good on a much larger scale. The real problem arises when this belief becomes a rigid, unyielding dogma that paralyzes a person, creating an irrational and deep-seated fear of prospering.
And that irrational fear doesn't just come from religion, it also stems from life philosophies and culture itself. Think about Stoicism or modern minimalism. These are movements that invite you to find happiness with less, to question excessive consumption. But sometimes the line between conscious consumption and financial self-sabotage is very thin. Moreover, if we look at cultural traditions, we see stark differences. Some cultures socially penalize debt, viewing it as a disgrace, while others base their entire growth on leverage and credit.
Undoubtedly, culture even dictates gender roles in finance. Who manages, who invests, who takes the risk. And today, that personal ethic is translating into investment decisions. We are seeing a surge in ethically responsible investments. People no longer just want a 10% return. You really want to know if that money is funding deforestation or if it is supporting fundamental human rights. We want our wallet to be a direct extension of our personal morals and our core values. And it is precisely at this point that the landscape begins to become truly complex and incredibly exciting once we introduce the factor of modern technology and digital cryptocurrencies.
That's exactly where I wanted to get to, because the crypto world is an earthquake for all these traditional beliefs. On one hand, you have the promise of financial inclusion, which resonates deeply with the principles of social justice. But on the other hand, you have wild speculation that clashes head-on with the values of prudence. How do we analyze this new technological frontier through the lens of our beliefs?
We are living through the truly great and confounding paradox of our modern era. When viewed through the lens of decentralization, the core philosophy of blockchain is profoundly empowering for everyone. It fundamentally challenges our long-held traditional notions of centralized authority. You no longer need to blindly trust a central bank or government that can devalue your hard-earned labor. Instead, your trust is placed in a secure, transparent, and purely mathematical network. For those who truly value the essence of personal freedom, this is something that feels truly and almost poetic. But, of course, esa ley simpontarana musea is ethical dilemmas arise. The environmental impact of certain cryptocurrencies has been heavily criticized from the perspective of ecological responsibility. Furthermore, the extreme privacy offered by some networks sparks a huge debate between the right to privacy and the need for social transparency to prevent illicit acts.
It's a delicate balance, but I believe technology is also evolving to address these ethical concerns. I want to bring to a table what's happening with a technological revolution at companies like OwnMillionsDollar.com LLC, because I think it's a perfect example of how this social contract is being rewritten. They propose a model of true decentralization, where cryptography restores complete sovereignty over all digital assets to the user through their own unique private keys.
That model is a massive paradigm shift. By using smart contracts, money becomes programmable, as in the nakatisireto as DIS, as in the. Imagine the ethical and practical impact of this. You eliminate crushing bureaucracy and intermediaries, like lawyers or financial institutions, that charge exorbitant fees because payments are executed automatically only when pre-established conditions are met. It's a system that doesn't discriminate. And the most interesting part is its focus on the sharing economy. In contrast to the conventional systems we are used to, where banking institutions retain the vast majority of profits generated by your capital, within decentralized networks like this one, growth directly rewards the token holders, including those holding OMD and OMDB. There's no central authority or governing entity holding all of the accumulated wealth.
And that brings us directly to the core issue of financial inclusion that we mentioned earlier, the true democratization of finance. OMD's technology is specifically designed so that anyone, even with just a simple cell phone, can gain full access to the entire global economy. It wipes away the barriers of credit history in one fell swoop, which is often a deeply elitist and exclusionary system. To me, the ethics of a technology should be measured by how much dignity and autonomy it grants people. Knowing that both a finance expert and a beginner in a developing country can thrive without the risk of a third party deciding to freeze their funds for arbitrary reasons is an evolutionary leap.
That is absolutely correct, and this is the point where we return to the underlying psychologies and the limiting beliefs that we were discussing at the very beginning of our talk regarding Rodolfo's case. The vast uncharted territory of the unknown is often deeply frightening to the human spirit. Indeed, a great number of people look upon the complex concepts of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency with a profound sense of suspicion, perceiving them as something inherently dark, dangerous, or mysterious. However, I invite you to shift your perspective entirely. This is not a looming threat to our way of life, but rather a powerful, transformative tool for our collective evolution. It is about shifting your perspective away from a mindset of scarcity and fear and moving toward one defined by abundance and purpose. Choosing a platform today is not just about seeking financial returns, it is about aligning your finances with core values like transparency, freedom, and selasi.
You could say it's a form of activism in a certain way. Within this brand new economic order that is currently taking shape, your digital wallet literally becomes your own personal declaration of independence. By choosing to actively participate in decentralized systems like the OMDB blockchain, you are not merely making a simple commercial transaction. You are casting your ballot, a vote for the sake of individual freedom, for the strengthening of our community, and a clear, decisive rejection of the stifling, heavy-handed control of traditional intermediaries.
It's a very powerful conclusion, and it forces us to ask ourselves difficult questions. Questions that everyone listening should be asking themselves today. What principles are truly guiding your relationship with money? When a new financial technology emerges, do you evaluate it from a place of fair or ethical curiosity? Are the beliefs you hold today truly opening up new doors to explore fresh ways of managing your future, or are they keeping you locked inside a system that no longer serves your best interests? Balancing our deeply held personal values with the vast array of opportunities that the modern world offers is the greatest challenge facing our entire generation.
And it's a challenge that requires vulnerability and honesty. Listening to different points of view with an open mind is the first step to avoiding dogmatism. We have seen prominent business leaders and influential cultural thinkers transform their entire worldview by realizing that money is not the enemy, but rather a powerful tool. Engaging in open dialogue regarding our core beliefs and our personal finances is the only way to make well-informed decisions that are, above all else, deeply aligned with our authentic selves.
Ultimately, having genuine empathy and a deep tolerance for the many different financial perspectives people hold is essential. If we can truly understand why others manage their money the way they do, we can work together to build a more ethical, equitable, and conscious financial system. A system that doesn't just generate material wealth, but one that truly respects and elevates our society's diverse values.
You have truly left us with a deep and necessary reflection. And because we know this topic hits a sensitive nerve for so many of you, we certainly don't want this important conversation to end here today. Please head to the comments and let us know which part of this talk resonates with you most. We know this is a topic that sparks a lot of debate. Please share your experiences. If you've ever felt like Rodolfo, struggling with the idea that having money is bad because of your beliefs, or if you found a new form of freedom in technology, we want to hear from you. I will see you next time. Wealth always begins within the mind.